Well, welcome to another edition of Davey's American Racing here, coming to you live from Fallon, Nevada. We've been really hot, and I mean hot, record temperatures here in Fallon, over 104, 105 a couple of days last week, and normally it gets about 95, nothing over 100, but that's where we've been for about the last 2 weeks, but it's starting to cool down, but it's going to get hot again because the month of July and August are usually the hottest around here. You know what I just found out too? That Nevada is the only state out of all the states in the United States where the only one gets snow 11 months out of the year. Go figure. Oh, well. But that's not about weather. We'll talk about weather later. But it's good to be back. To give a couple more minutes and see who's coming on here. Okay, nobody on here yet. So I'll just take my time, let you know what's been happening here. Going to have a couple of guests on here. One of them is Donnie Richardson. I'm sorry, Donnie. You may or may not know him, but you're going to find out who he is in a couple of minutes. Also, I'm going to find the other one here. Hang on here. I'll be right back. I got to copy his name and send him an invite, and then I'll tell you who it is in a couple of minutes here. We'll be here. Invite. Messenger. Donnie's in the background. You can't see or hear him. I can. So I'll give a big wave to Donnie in a second here. As soon as I send this off. Come on. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Good. My other guest got his invite, so I'll go from there. Hi, Donnie. Like I said, they can't see or hear you yet. I see you there. You may want to pull back a little bit. I'd see your whole face there. There you go. That's perfect right there. That's perfect. Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to come on, like I said a couple of minutes ago, but I decided to, and I got just a little bit of information from some of the races over the weekend in one here in Nevada and the rest in California. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Oh, nobody's coming on. Nobody likes me no more, I guess. But give them a couple minutes here. But I'm sure they can catch the rest of it on the recording if they have to. A lot of you know for about the last 2.5 months, I've had some health issues with my breathing and swallowing, which is all taken care of. And it seems like the last 4 years in a row now. Hey, Dan McGee's on here. How you doing, Dan? I've been having some health issues. The last 3 years, been my liver with an infection there because I do have a staple in my liver, and that's been getting affected. And that was 20-something years ago when they put the staple in there. But my doctor said down the road it may get infected, but it has the last 3 years in a row. But then this year with my breathing and my swallowing, it's made a big difference. What would happen when I first found out about it, I would go outside for about 15 minutes and do some work out there, and I'd have to come in the house, lay down for about 45 minutes before I actually can go back outside and do anything because of my breathing problems, but that's been taken care of. One of the things they did find out, I have COPD now. And the other thing is they changed two things on some of my blood pressure pills. I have high blood pressure, but one of them I have to cut in half. And they think that's what's been causing some of the problems. So they're going to keep an eye on my blood pressure. Myself doing the same thing, but I got to go into my nurse every now and then so she can put it on record. So hopefully that'll help as well. And then they changed one of my inhalers, which that helped big time. So I can go outside now and do some work, not even get tired or lose my breath. Lori Bowersox, how are you, sweetie, on here? A.M. McAdam is on here. Smokey McFisherman here in Fallon. Lori, how you been, sweetie? Oh, I sure miss you guys. Ian's on. Hi, Ian. They can't see or hear you yet, but I can wave to you. You may want to pull back on the camera just a little bit more. Right there. That'd be perfect. There you go. Now I can see that smiling teeth of yours. I want to have Donnie Richardson on first, then Ian, I'll have you on after because I got a lot with Donnie. We're going to be covering about this weekend's racing in Cedarville, California. But let's get into what this program is all about. Again, before we do, I want to thank everybody for all the prayers that were sent in, message, or actually called me about my health. And hopefully next year nothing goes wrong with my health. I hate getting old. All right, let's get on the road, Ian. Let's go to Placerville, California, Placerville Speedway. This was Saturday, July the 13th. Had a great racing weekend, especially with the wing and non-wing sprint cars. We're going to start with the wing 360 sprint cars. They had 20 of them in the main event. Picking up that main event was Tony Gomes. Andy Forsberg was second, also fast qualifier. If he wins any more races there, Ian, they're going to have to change the name to Andy Forsberg Placerville Speedway. Just give me a nod. I can't hear you. Just give me a thumbs up for right now. There you go. Shane Hopkins was third. Chance Krasty, I believe, was fourth. That's his name. And Jimmy Torelli was fifth. Move on to the pure stocks with 10 cars in the main event. Nick Baldwin, I haven't heard that name for quite a while. Tyler Lightfoot is second. Kevin Jinkerson was third. Tommy Sturgeon was fourth. And Amita Bradshaw. Ian, is that a gal, Anita, or Amita? It is a gal. That's good. Top 5. That's good. Since I've been out of California, these are all new names to me. It's been gone for almost, 10 years now. Anyhow, okay. Mini trucks with 10 trucks in the main event. I'll tell you what, probably the biggest track around that has many trucks and has that big of a car count is going to have, which is good. All right, Mike Miller picking up the main event. Luke Costa was second. Paige Miller was third. Paisley Miller was fourth. And Tyler Gogan. Again, Ian, thumbs up. Mike and Paige, are they married? Or are they just cousins or what? You don't know? Oh, what good are you? Oh, I don't know. All right, let's move over to the non-wing 360 sprint cars. They also had 20 in the main event. That's a good car count for a wing and non-wing sprint cars for one night there, especially with non-wings. Jacob Tuttle picking up the main event there. Josh Young was second. DJ Johnson was third. Fourth, Sean Arriaga. Boy, that name goes back many, many years. Known them for many years. Evan Goulart was fifth, and Dalen Newberry was quick qualifier, finishing fifth. Also, Andy Forsberg was quick qualifier that night as well. All right, that was Placerville. Let's get on the highway, head down south on 80 a little bit, and Highway 4, I guess we can take over to Antioch Speedway on Saturday night. Hobby Stocks main event. 19 cars in the main event. They still get a good car count with the Hobby Stocks there. Jared Buell was first. Aiden Ponciano was second. My longtime friend from Madera Speedway and Dirt Track Racing in Central California, Ryan Hart, was third. James Thompson was fourth. And Kevin Brown, another name I haven't talked about in a long time, was fifth. Mini stocks, they only had 4 cars there. Normally, they got a ton of them out there. But anyhow, Tom Davis will pick up the main. Tom Brown, 2 Toms, finishing second. Tony Quinez was third. Fourth was Matt Worth, I think it is, W-I-R-T-H. IMCA stocks, they had 6. This class came up. I thought there was going to be a bunch of cars, but maybe the following years they pick up the car count on a lot of the tracks here with these IMCA stocks. I love watching them race. All right, Jason Jennings picking up the main event. Jason Robles was second. Scott Foster was third. Jeff Betancourt was fourth. Mitch Machado, my buddy from a long, long time from Petaluma Speedway. Love the family. Oh, man, just a great family. Was fifth, and Kenneth Robust was sixth. 600 sprint mini sprints was sixth in the main event. Donovan Zufa picking up the main. Second was Ken Carter. Third was Ryan Dotson. Fourth was Charlie Knight. Figure 8. Boy, a lot of tracks don't have this anymore. Remember the old San Jose Speedway there on Tully Road? Back in the days there, the asphalt track, we used to have figure 8 races there all the time, and I loved them. All right, Brandon Carpenter picking up the win there. And then Mike Conley was second. Third was David Rosa. Fourth, Angela Brown. There's a name I have not seen on the top 5 list for quite a while. Besides that, she's beautiful. And James Urisi was fifth. Again, that was the figure eight there at Antioch. All right, so move to California, still in California. I'll go to Nevada here. Friday night, they had the Howard Kading Classic Friday and Saturday night. Well, I sure do miss going to those things there. Okay, Friday night with the sprint cars called Macedo. Picking up the main event, fast qualifier. They had 18 cars qualified, and I believe 18 in the main event as well. Again, Cole Macedo picking up the main event Friday night. Dominic Gordon, second. Third was Bud Kading. Fourth was Gage Garcia. Fifth was Caleb Montgomery. All right, IMC Sport Mods, Friday night again, feature with 17 in the main event. Matthew Fraser. Good job, buddy. Jeff Mead. All right, there's another name been on for quite a while. Emily Van Hoff, sixth. Rob Geller was fourth, and Tyler Tucker, fifth. Hobby Stocks. Forgot how many they had in there. I didn't write it down, but DJ Kelson picking up the main event there. In fact, talk about figure eights. DJ and the family used to run that a lot. All right, second one, Adrian Frost. Matt Kyle was third, fourth, Sam Kennedy, and fifth was Joe Gallagher. With the WMR, which is the Western Midget Racing Association, they're getting good car counts there, picking up a lot of these midgets. Bryant Bell picking up the main event. Teddy Beverett was second. Terry Nichols, and the name I haven't said for a while, was third. Jerry, my good buddy, was fourth. And then Anthony Bruno was fifth with the midgets. All right, let's go to night number 2 there for the Howard Kading Classic at Ocean Speedway. Saturday night 410, Justin Sanders picking up another main event in California. I'm going to tell you what. Remember when that kid started racing, just a youngster, but look at him now. My God, he's awesome. All right, he again picked up the main event with 24 cars started in that Howard Kading Classic. Cole Macedo finished second, also the dash winner that night. Sean Becker was third. Fourth, Bud Kading, also a quick qualifier. And his brother, Tim Kading, was fifth. So that ought to have been a pretty good race between Bud and Tim Kading right towards the end there. All right, the WMR with 14 midgets. Bryant Bell picking up the main event. Anthony Bruno was second. Third was Teddy Beverett. Fourth was Jerry Cabaz again. And then fifth, Todd Heiss. Where did he finish Friday night? Oh, both nights he's finishing fourth. Good job, Jerry. Hobby Stocks with 11 cars in the main event. Joe Galler. Man, this guy's just, boom, winning everything. And Adrian Foss finishing second that night, too. In fact, both nights she finished second. J.D. Carlson was third. J.D. won Friday night, so he's still making some money. Back Kyle was fourth, and Rob Galler was fifth. Those Galler boys and fathers and everybody else, man, they are fast. IMCA modifies with 14 in the main. Jacob Meller Jr. I'm going to tell you something. Have you heard of Ian? Just give me a thumbs up. Have you heard of Jacob Mellett Jr.? I'll tell you what, I just met this young man a couple of weeks ago in Susanville at the races there, which he won. This kid is awesome. He started out in the go-karts, but I'm going to have him on one of these weekends or weekdays and talk about his racing career because I got a funny feeling this is one of the guys that's going to be up there, maybe someday, maybe NASCAR or someplace up there. He's that good. All right, but he picked up the main event with the IMCA modified. Jim Pettit II was third. Ryan Porter was third. Good to have you out there, Ryan. Still glad to see you racing. Fourth, Fred Lynn. And fifth, Marcus Fraser. Good job, buddy. All right, let's go to Nevada. The only thing racing was up at Battle Mountain Raceway July 3rd on Saturday. Now, only had 3 divisions. There's still some, as of today, I tried to look it up, we're still on hold for pending. So something may be going on. Somebody might have protested some of these, but I'll have them probably next week to get the rest of the finishes. All right. They had 8 dwarf cars. Matthew D. Moore picking up the main. Randy Arts, there's a name that doesn't seem too familiar with the dwarf cars. You usually see him in the IMCA modifieds, but it's good to see his name back up there. Brian Finney was third. Robert Duncan was fourth. Bart Moody was fifth. Hobby Stocks, they only had 5 cars up there. But this is no surprise. Santiago Villanueva picking up the main event. And second, Yancey can do it. Shoot. Andy Demon was third. Thomas Hansaka was fourth. And David Carrera Jr. was fifth. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Hobby Stock main event. Yeah, that was. Now the IMCA. They only had 3 IMCA modifieds there, but David Carrera picking up the main event. And Willie Hammond was second. And Mark Ben Diaz was third. Again, there's about 4 divisions are holding for pending. And like I said, I didn't get much on there. I was trying to get Madera Speedway from last week, my old racetrack, which I missed. But anyhow, apologize to Kenny Shepard and folks there at Madera Speedway. I didn't get their finish. But again, we'll have a lot more coming up next week. And like I said, I wasn't really sure if I was going to come on tonight, but I decided to that way I could let everybody know what's happening with my health. But I am back. Okay, we got Dan, we got Smokey. Oh, Lori Bauer Socks. Miley says hi and she misses you. I have to tell you why Lori Bauer Socks put that on there. Miley is her firstborn daughter. And I think she was either 3 or 4 years old. Lori, correct me right. But I took her out on one of her first dates. We went to McDonald's and we had a ball. I'm going to put the picture back up of us both on her first date. She just had a ball. It's just beautiful, but she's still beautiful. The rest of her kids all look like Lori too, and they're all beautiful. Thank you, Lori. And I do miss all you guys. And give everybody, especially Miley, a big kiss and a hug for me. Alan Shaftel's on here. Alan, you better have a beer in your hand, buddy. Donald Cheer, what's up, Davey? What you got on your face? Oh, that's right. Last time I was on, I didn't have this on here. I woke up one morning and it was there. Like I said, a caterpillar grew on me. Yeah, so that's there. So I'm going to leave it on. A lot of you know I cut my ponytail off, so I'll grow a mustache now, but I do miss my ponytail. Mark Baptista, what's going on there? All the way from Roseburg, Oregon. Hey, Mark, if you get a chance, make it to Cedarville Raceway Saturday night. Big racing going out there. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. John Myers, another guy who's missed out of California. Miss you, buddy. We've been friends for, oh, God, I don't know how many years, but 30, 40 years, someplace in there. He's one of those announcers who have a deep voice. Oh, yeah. I have a deep voice, but he's got a deep voice. It's good to have you on here, John. Keith Colbert out of California, Tulare, California. How you doing, buddy? He's got a brother over here. I was talking to him the other day. I didn't even know it was his brother. I met him before. Cody James Robinson, how you doing, buddy? Cody's supporting a new truck around town, so I imagine he's got quite a few new girlfriends with that new truck of his. Oh, Dwight, how you doing over there in Idaho or Utah? At least you're on here. Oh, my God. My heart's pumping big time. Yeah, you know who it is. Tatiana, how you doing, sweetheart? She says, hi, love, I miss you. Same here, Tatiana. We are going to have to get together for lunch or dinner. I sure miss everybody, especially you. We'll get on the phone and talk about it or message each other about it. Teresa Lyons is on here out of Fallon. It's good to have her on here. Okay. Lori again. Oh, we love you, Dave. Miley will always remember that her first date. She better, because I will never forget it. Meridian, that's right, Meridian, Idaho. Cody James, I only wish because he had the new truck, new girlfriends trying to hang around. You'll get them, Cody. That's a lot of people ask me why I move around. I kind of have to. I got to get a different chair. I have, just like everybody else, I have back problems, so I have to keep propping myself. If I don't, I'll lean down and start slouching, and I don't like that. Either that, I'm going to tie myself against the chair. Matthew says, hi. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Michael Ford, Lincoln Mercury is on here saying hi from Las Banas, California. Of course, we all know what Las Banas stands for, right? The toilet. Not to make fun of you, Michael Ford, Lincoln Mercury. That's what I call Michael Ford. But I want to thank everybody for tuning on. There's a lot of more people that tune in. They just don't punch it up. So I can see the comments coming on there. But there's a lot more coming on there. All right. Let's get on to one of my special guests tonight out of two. is named Donnie Richardson. Let me pull something up here. Out of Oakdale, California, and he is the one that is responsible for putting this race on Cedarville, California this Saturday night. So we're going to bring him on here. Add to stage. I'll do like Biden. Add to stage. That's a good one, huh, Ian? Hey, Donnie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Davey. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Looks like you're up in Cedarville.
No, I'm actually in Oakdale. I'm at home.
Oh, okay.
I'm
fencing back there. So
yeah.
You're out of Oakdale, California.
Yeah, no, I'm rolling out first.
Go ahead.
I grew up in Cedarville and I wound up in Oakdale. So,
like I said, that's cowboy country. So, and I know you're a cowboy. All right, big race.
I used to be. My wife and kids took that over.
Well, at least somebody did. All right, Cedarville, California. This Saturday night, big racing up there. Why don't you get us started on some of it and what's happening there?
Well, so originally we started this, you were involved with it from day one, 6-7 years ago with the Gordy Russell Senior Memorial. So we did that for a handful of years, and then COVID kind of put a damper on some things. And so we decided to bring it back, and few new sponsors came in and some things like that. And we thought, well, instead of doing a memorial for the same person every year, we might just morph it in. We might just start every year adding names to it and just start fresh with new racing. So we're gonna give it a whirl and see if we can make it go.
Well, from what we've seen on Facebook and phone calls, emails, or what, we're gonna have quite a few pro stocks out there this weekend.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be setting really good. For a 1-day payout, we set a goal. I wanted to have the biggest 1-day payout that we have for the year, and I think we'll have that unless something pops up after the fact. But definitely got the best 1-day payout, and the people of the community wanted it. I mean, that's the smallest community in the state of California, the smallest county, and we raised $12,000 for the pro stocks.
That is awesome. Like I said, it's a small town, 2 bars, maybe 2 motels, I think, and not one.
Yeah, Cedarville's got 500 people.
Yeah, that's about it. You got a nice fairgrounds, and I can remember the first race we had there, those grandstands were packed. I mean, people missed their racing there in Cedarville, California.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they had pre-sale tickets already, and they've already sold out on pre-sale tickets.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope they got a lot of beer left this time and a lot of food.
I think they've set themselves up. They understand. Yeah, like said, they know what they're up against now.
Yeah, my first race we had there, third heat, beer and food was gone. A lot of upset people there. So I think it's the second or third when we drank the town dry. The 2 beer bars, I should say.
Yep.
That was funny. But again, yeah, it's going to be a great race. Even with the hobby stocks, they're going to have a little bit of a pay raise on their main event.
Yeah, well, and I really want to grow and add the hobby stock. So I advertised 100 start and 1,000 to win. It's guaranteed money. I'm paying through the field too. So it's not 1,000 to win and 200 per second. I think I'm going to do 600 per second. 4 for third, and then we'll just we'll step it on down from. But the more cars we get, the back gate goes to the hobby stocks. So the more cars come in, the bigger it gets.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's not often the hobby stocks race for that kind of money anymore, especially when it's guaranteed.
Yeah, so the money we raise sponsorship, the payout's already guaranteed. So backgate money's just bonus money for us.
Yeah, that's about it. Bonus money. All right, back to pro stocks. What are they going to be winning for the main event?
It's 2,000 to win. 2,000 to win. Yeah, my service is not very good here. It's 2,000 to win.
Okay, right there. Got you good right there.
2,000 to win. My service is hitting in and out here, Davey. Is that any better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you and see you. There's a little bit too much light, but that's okay. That's okay. There you go. There you go.
There we go. We'll try it here. I keep moving around. You've been going in and out on me, so I keep moving, trying to stay up with it. But it's 2,000 to win, 1,200 per second, 8 for third, 6 fourth. It's 300 to start. From 300, from 20th to 15th, 300. From 15th to 10th, 350, and then it just starts stepping up from there.
That's unbelievable, especially if it's guaranteed. I don't think there's any track that has even put that kind of money up for a pro stock main event win.
Yeah, no, I've already wrote the cashier's check, so that way it's already in the bank and cleared, and the payout that night, you can cash it that night if you can find a place to do it.
Well, I know we're getting guys from northern Nevada or California, Central Valley, even maybe past Bakerfield. Some drivers are coming up, and Oregon. We might even get some guys from Idaho coming in for this.
Yeah.
Race.
Yeah. So I've seen a couple things. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Davey.
Yeah, you're just as bad as me. I got to keep moving. Who from the Central Valley is coming in?
Oh boy, on the pro stocks. Well, I know Chris Smith. They're out there. Klinga, myself. We've got Justin Crockett's coming from all the way down south of Royal Grande. We've got put me on the spot and start moving names now. Gary Dutton is coming out of Bakersfield in the 197. They've got a 70, is it Sid Hess, maybe, I believe, is the guy driving the 75 car. Phil Marino from Chico's coming. We got Mike Learn coming out of Petaluma. Off the top of my head, I don't know. We've got 15 cars that have sent in pictures and confirmed, but I know of at least 3 or 4 more that haven't sent in a picture. They don't do the social media stuff, but they said they're coming. So we should be a minimum of 20 cars.
Yeah, the names I've seen so far, out of any of those drivers, anyone, including you, can win that main event.
Oh, well, that's why we're all going. We've got to put our name in the hat, right?
Yeah, that's what I like about these races that are put on with the pro stocks. Like I said, you guys are all, we got excellent car racers racing with the pro stock. You got guys that have gone even higher than that and back to the pro stocks. I would really like to see this division grow even bigger, and I mean bigger. And with people like you working with
it has the potential.
It does have a good potential.
Yeah, it definitely it has the potential, and a lot of us are we're hard-headed. We like this class and we want to stay in this class. So, some years they're good and we we run the cars, and other years when it's slow, we bring them out when we can. But I think for the most part, I mean, last year the Tri-State had an amazing year. Every show but one, I believe, had over 20 cars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, if you get over 20 cars, any promoter is going to be very, very, very happy about that.
Oh, yeah. 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 So, well, and then that, just exposure and everything for the class, for, nobody wants to, go watch a five car main event. It happens. That's just racing in the economy we're in nowadays. So the more cars, the more excitement. So, yeah. Yeah. And
well, I'm just one of those guys cannot wait to leave Friday morning to get up there.
Well, and the pro stocks, everybody can, there's not quite the IMCA sanctioning ruling or things like that. So every car can look a little different. A guy's got a freedom to make, their car stands out and they can do some different things. So I think that's an appealing thing to the class too,
Yeah. I just like the way they look, period, guys from Oregon are coming up or coming down?
So I texted back and forth with Steve Bohr. So he said as long as he's got parts in, he's coming, and the B40 car, and he's always fast. And then Jeffrey Hudson, we're still working on him. I don't know. They raced the mod show last weekend. They've just had a lot of irons in the fire, but they're on the fence. And then we've got Rusty Azevedo, and his son, and I've never met his son, so I don't know his name, but they both have pro stocks. I know they're both coming, and then there could be another surprise tour car. Yeah,
All
so
right,
yeah, but
Saturday night.
those are confirmed that are coming. So
That'd be good. Like I said, we're going to get a lot of cars. I know we are. It's going to be a great race between both the divisions, the pro stocks and the hobby stocks. So maybe we'll get a couple of past winners that we've had in the
and
past. They're showing up because we got guys probably showing up. They haven't even signed up
and for
yet.
guys.
So yeah,
Well, and that's it. There was no pre-registry, none of that. But then also too, Friday night we're opening the track for an open practice too. It's $20 pit pass, car driver, pit crew member, whatever. Just if guys can get off or can get up there in time, you can see the facility, you can run a few laps and be a little prepared for Saturday too.
well, everybody at the fairgrounds, they've always enjoyed us up there. They're always ready for us up there. So they always have open arms with us when we do show up here at Cedarville at the fairgrounds there. Like I said, that first time nobody had raced on that track in over almost 12 years, I believe it was. It
Yep.
was just, from what I was told, that those used to get grandstand a lot of people all the time.
Well, and as a little kid in the '80s, my dad and them raced there, and it stuck with me somehow. I still do it, Yeah.
It's funny how that happened. When I got out of the service, I was going to race before that too, but not involved in racing, just in the grandstand. But it's well over 50 years. I thought I'd be gone a long time ago from racing, but it's still over 50 years now. So it's in our blood, I guess.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have liked it so much. I could have found a cheaper sport maybe, but well, I just work a little bit harder and we'll make it happen.
Well, I appreciate what you do for racing, especially this weekend, because I know how much work you're putting in there, going up there and back, working, going back up there and back and working. It's tough. I'm sure it's been
Oh
kind
yeah.
of tough on the family as well. At least they love racing as well.
Well, it's just trials and tribulations. I guarantee I don't do nothing that most any other races don't do the racers do to make a race. I blew a motor up earlier this year and it wasn't ready. I literally 5 days ago I went and leased a motor from a guy just to make Cedarville.
Wow. That's what I love about racing
Yeah.
communities. They're there to help you out. All right. Racing starts at what time on Saturday?
Drivers meeting at 5:30. I'd like to have cars on track by 6 o'clock. Get wheel packing done and start getting things going. By that time, I'm hoping the sun's kind of behind the mountain a little bit there, and then it doesn't bother the drivers and everything quite as much. So, yeah, I'm hoping cars on track by 6 o'clock.
All right. If you're here in Nevada, Northern California, Oregon, if you want to see some good racing, head to Cedarville Raceway there in Cedarville, California for the Extreme Summer Race we have coming up there. And it's all due to you, my friend. Thank you for doing what you do for racing.
Yeah. One more thing, Davey, too. I don't know. I just seen it popped up the other day, and what got me involved with the Nevada racing years ago. Gordy Russell is missing, and I don't know the whole story or the whole anything behind that, but he was huge in the racing community and the Nevada side of things for years. And the more that can get out there and the more information, the more we can figure out whatever happened or what's going on with him. I think that would be an amazing thing too.
Yeah, that was a big shock when we all found out, was it about 3-4 days ago, about that there too. And I actually broke down.
Yeah.
I mean, Gordy's a good friend of mine, but yeah, it was sad.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to say something.
He grew up up there in Alberta.
Yeah, we'll say something Saturday night about it.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, like I said, that was shocking.
Yeah.
So I need to call his wife up. I want to find out a few things. Being able to search and rescue, I may take a trip up there and take the quad just in case.
Yeah.
But I can give her a call first and find out what's happening up there. So, all right, my friend.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. My phone was cutting out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. What you're going to finish saying there?
Oh, I don't know a lot of the details of what's going on behind that. So, the more information that everybody knows, the better off it will be, on trying to figure out what's going on with Gordy.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody is praying about it too as well. We need that guy back. He's big time in racing. He's just one of those guys you don't want
Yeah.
anything to happen to. Well, you want nothing to happen to anybody, but especially come up missing like that. That's
Yeah.
not good at all. So, okay, my friend, I got another buddy I want to bring on here, and I thank you for coming on. We'll see you Friday.
All righty. I appreciate it, Davey.
All right, take care.
All
bud.
right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, again, if you can, make your way up to Cedarville, California. It's a small town, and I mean a small town. First time I went up there, I was really surprised. Man, this is a small town, not even a street light. I'm going to say it anyhow. One of their street gals standing outside, she's standing under a flashlight. That's how small the town is. So I call her Ever Ready. Sorry, bad joke. But again, if you can't make your way to Cedarville, California, at the Cedarville Raceway, located right there at the beautiful looking fairgrounds there, for the Extreme Summer Race again Saturday. Pro Stocks, 2,000 to win, 300 to start. Hobby Stocks, 1,000 to win, 100 to start. And racing should be started around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And let's see what else they got on there. Anything else they want to say? Okay. Pits will open about 2 p.m. Grandstands will open at 4 p.m. And again, racing should start right around 6 p.m. hopefully. All right. I'm going to bring another buddy on here. We've been talking a lot lately. He's another racetrack announcer. One of the better ones, as far as I'm concerned, but I'm going to bring him on. His name is Ian McAdam. Ian, how you doing, buddy? Look at you. You're all kicked back, relaxed.
I mean, I'm out of town for my day job right now, believe it or not, coming to you from Reno, Nevada.
Well, that's just down the street, about 45 minutes from me.
There you go. But
are you gambling or working?
Working the day job, which, I mean, the day job just pays my bills, but the announcing is what I do for fun and what I have absolutely enjoyed. So thank you for that compliment coming from you. That means the absolute world to me, believe it or not.
Not from me. I've heard you before, and I like your voice too and everything like that.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
What is your main announcing? Is that the tractor pulls or what?
Oh, holy cow. So let me give you a little abridged history. I was a motocross racer for 10 years. My heart and soul's been in two wheels, but I also grew up in the stands at Placerville Speedway. Born and raised El Dorado County. Currently, I call home about literally 5 minutes down the street from Placerville Speedway. Yep. So I was a kid who I thought, okay, hey, announcers are cool. Like, I should do this. Well, a lot of peer pressure. And then I ended up getting myself into it at the ripe young age of 31 years old. I even forgot. And so I went, okay. So I hit up a buddy of mine and picked up a dirt bike track. And I said, East Street MX Park. And I said, hey, are you looking for an announcer? He goes, yeah, I heard a rumor you're looking for a job. I'm like, hey, I want to get into this. So
who was the promoter at that time?
Jesse Van Rokel.
Yeah. Okay. Jesse,
yeah. The owner of East Street MX Park. And he picked the track up. Him and I are old riding buddies. And I just things just started from there. And I kind of started just feeling my way out. Believe it or not, 2019, I shot an email to Mike Lewis from L&L Productions for truck and tractor pulls. I was in the first set of stands ever, or actually my first truck and tractor pull, I was probably 3 years old. I mean, to a point where my mom had earplugs in my ears and cupped her hands over my ears, and then it was like a 7,400 pound unlimited tractor loose with an Allison. And she's like, holy cow. And I was kind of hooked ever since. I'd go to the Amador County Fair and watch it. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. And the guy said, hey, I'm going to give you a shot. So I went down to now what is the Central Valley Spectacular, which is the first stop of the L&L Productions Western American Pulling Tour. Went to that in 2019. I worked with a great guy named Chuck Pumley. He kind of showed me the ropes. And I just jumped around because Jesse got a hold of me about 4 years ago. And he said, hey, which I'm in my 5th year of doing this, by the way. He said, hey, I'm building a side-by-side track, like building a short course track. He's like, you know anything about short course off-road? And I said, yeah, because growing up, if it had wheels or horsepower, I was into it. Horsepower also meaning rodeo, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I can't really say I have a mainstay anymore because I work for East Street MX Park. I do only a handful of two-wheeled races there. I do their side-by-side racing, L&L Productions. I even dabbled a little bit in circle track this year, some logistical issues.
Where at?
I tagged along with the USAC Western States Midget Tour, which was predominantly in Southern California. I got to go to Kevin Harvick's Stern Raceway. That facility is unbelievable, by the way. Got to go to Bakersfield Speedway, which I have to say that's one of the coolest grassroots tracks I've ever been to, just because I've never seen. You were talking about the pro stocks for your guys' race up in Cedarville. Those things on a third mile, that is fun. I grew up Placerville Speedway, for those that have never been, real high banked, and it's a outside quarter mile, so it's super tight. Not that fun with stock cars, but you put those things on a third mile, they do war with each other. I don't even know how
They're
else to put
awesome.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
love them.
unbelievable. So got to do that, and then I got to go all the way out to Ventura, which Ventura was super cool because, I mean, Thursday Night Thunder. I'm old enough to remember Thursday Night Thunder. You know, when the USAC Western States Midgets was on ESPN. So I got to call a race from that announcer's tower, and I was like, this is wicked cool. Unfortunately, like I said, some logistical issues. I couldn't do that anymore. But I do some one-off events here and there. I did the recent Stadium GP that was in Reno. That I'd worked that with a guy named Kenny Bell, if you know freestyle motocross.
I know
a
Kenny.
lot of your
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked that with Kenny, and that was a blast. Kenny is a class act of a dude to work with. Like I said, I go wherever I get a phone call. I'm in Reno today for work for the day job. I go back home tomorrow night, and then I hop on an airplane to go to Boise, Idaho Friday, and then I have to get a rental car and drive 3.5 hours to Pendleton, Oregon, to go work the Pendleton Shootout flat track race for McAllister Motorsports, part of the Pendleton Run this upcoming weekend. So anybody from Oregon watching this, you'll recognize this voice if you show up at the Pendleton Run for the Pendleton Shootout this weekend. So to completely answer your question, even though I know I just told the story that had more S-turns than Sonoma Raceway, my mainstay is whoever wants to work me. I don't really, if I had a place to call home as an announcer, it would be Eastern MX Park, but as time goes on, I'm getting a lot more opportunity and just if anybody's watching this that's a race promoter, have microphone will travel. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what I used to say too.
And
But
it's so much fun.
I've been fortunate since I started in 2005 to be at racetracks for at least 4 years or 6 years.
That's awesome.
Or 3. But I've been very fortunate to be able to do that. Not like some of the announcers, I know they're there 1 year and they're gone the next. But I've been very fortunate. So, but I kind of like the idea of what you're doing through. Maybe next year or the following year, I may be doing the same thing. Just get back on the road a little bit.
I mean, if I got a phone call from, insert racetrack name here, and they said, hey, we want you to jump in and be our guy, then for 2025, I would facilitate my schedule to make that work. I would love to have a track to call home. I would love to do more circle track. But let me tell you something, Davey. So truck and tractor pulls, the most glossed over form of motorsports on the West Coast, period. Some of the rowdiest crowds I've ever been around because, some people kind of gloss over the art of working a crowd. Well, some of my biggest influences come from the Western sports world. Guys like Bob Tallman, Luke Kaufman, guys that are rodeo announcers, because what's a rodeo announcer do? Works the crowd. For me, I've had some of the rowdiest and most ridiculous crowds at truck and tractor pulls. My hometown tractor pull, actually on the front straightaway, of the infield, the Placerville Speedway for the El Dorado County Fair. I got a handful of t-shirt giveaways from Hanley's Western Wear in Folsom. And I literally, because they were adding more weight to the sled, I popped out of Gary Thomas's office, the announcer's booth, and I said something about, oh, who wants a shirt? I got almost mobbed. Like, I had people trying to climb over other people just to get shirts from me. Oh no, I have to lock the door now.
Yeah, from what I've seen, race fans love free stuff. They don't care what it is, but if it's free, my God, I got this at the racetrack on Saturday night. We're going to go back. That's,
Bingo.
That's me. That's why I like giving stuff away.
Exactly. And it's the coolest thing. It's no matter what, even if your event is live streamed, which I mean, my voice has been on Flow 4 times last year, or no, 3 times this year, twice last year. I got to do the Napa Auto Parts 150. I filled in for Stephen Blakesley at All American Speedway,
Good
and
friend of mine.
oh, great guy, great guy.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from him. I actually had him. We were doing some outlaw kart racing in Grass Valley for the last couple of years, Empire Mine Speedway. Unfortunately, that wasn't able to come back. I had a race that was on a Wednesday. I couldn't get the day off from my day job, so I called him. Said, "Hey, can you fill in for me?" He said, "Awesome." What I love about as I'm getting to know guys like you, guys like Steven, it's like, you know, if we work together, us in the positions we're in can unanimously make everything even more of an experience for the crowd. And that's what I want to do. Every single time people show up in an event I'm working, which FYI, I have 4 events coming in the great state of Nevada. I'll get to that in a minute. So
I know which one, and I'm going to be there. But
which
I'll
one?
let you announce it.
Okay. But like I said, if we all in unison work together, we can make the experience so much better for the people in the stands, or the people that are at home watching on Speed Union TV, Flow Racing, CaliDirt.tv, all these other streaming platforms. We can make it more of a viable product, and I'm bringing that over from watching the folks from the Western sports world, watching the folks from even professional wrestling. I know as goofy as that sounds, but who other than JR and the King from WWE, it's like, who else could be any cooler than that? So dividing all that, and then we get into this, and I feel like I kind of found my niche because I didn't get into this wanting to assimilate somebody else's style. I said, I'm here, let's go to work, and let's make this a fun experience for the crowd, for the drivers, for the people on the live stream. And dude, this has been for 5 years now I've done this. This has been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, it has. It's a good friend of mine. I won't mention their names because when they first told me, helping me out, they said, "You're a racetrack announcer. You stay in the booth. That is your job to announce the races." That was fine, all done. I was watching Tony Bennett one night, one of my favorite singers.
Yes.
And he's watching the people because I could watch his eyes watching the people while he was singing. So he stopped and says, I've been watching everybody's heads are bobbing. You're enjoying the music. I'm not just a singer. I'm an entertainer.
Bingo.
Bam. Right there is when it hit. That's when I started going outside the booth and not messing, but enjoying being with the race fans. No matter what it is. Hey, whose birthday is out there? Anybody celebrating a wedding anniversary? Anything. And especially giving things away for free. That worked out big time.
The funniest story I have about that is, so that same truck and tractor pull, I always have kind of like a couple prerequisite things I ask the truck and tractor pull crowds. Want to figure out who's brand loyal, Ford guys, Chevy guys, Dodge guys. And I always get the funniest reaction from the Ford people. And there were 2 bald guys that were built. Like they looked like they could have bench pressed me. And I'm like, and every time I'd make a slight, subtle little Ford joke, which I always have a disclaimer. I go, you are subject to hearing Ford jokes, Chevy jokes, GMC jokes. We can all agree on one thing. A Honda Ridgeline is not a pickup truck. And the crowd usually goes nuts. So I'm making a Ford joke, and this guy's he'd been drinking all day. It's Eldorado County Fair. And he's got his middle finger up in the air. And I look at him and I go, if you think, and everybody knew who I was calling out. If you think this guy's Stone Cold Steve Austin's cousin, give me a hell yeah. You hear the whole crowd go, hell yeah. It was the funniest thing. I was dying in the booth. I was dying. And when I got to go to Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, and for the life of me, I can't remember Steve's last name, but the announcer there, absolute treat of a human being, just to even watch how he worked. And I picked up so much from him that night, just doing my little portion of the show while he was working with the USCS, I almost said Unlimited, the United Sprint Car Series, Ultimate. Sorry, Melissa, if you're watching this, Ultimate Sprint Car Series, 410 and 360 wing cars that are predominantly in Southern California. I'm watching this dude and just how he kind of reacts and works, because I know I'm new to this. I mean, even 5 years in, and I still want to get veteran announcers and kind of like pay attention and learn, because that's how I'm going to grow to, who knows, potentially not have to be in a hotel on a Thursday night. Well, no, wait, Wednesday. I forgot what day it was. On a Wednesday evening, out of town for a day job. When in reality, I can be like, oh no, I can be home and then hop an airplane to go somewhere. That would be a treat.
Yeah, yeah. I used to go to Paris all the time when I was living in California. To me, that's probably the best sprint car track besides Ventura.
I've never been to Paris. I've seen pictures. It looks wild. It looks
Dude,
really,
you
really
need
neat.
to get down there if you ever get a chance.
I would love to.
Oh,
Absolutely love to.
you, you'd fall in love with that place right off the bat. But yeah,
Been
probably one of the best sprint car tracks. Well, Chico used to be. I think it's coming back as well. Stockton is redoing the tracks again. I think that's going to be even better now the way they've done it.
It's gonna be interesting to see what that group does with Stockton. Like I
Yeah,
said, with all this, like I grew up a motorsports fan before I even raced motocross. So I've been to Chico, I've been to Calistoga, I've been to Marysville, obviously Placerville. I mean, I've almost lost track of all the places I've seen. I enjoyed the old layout of Stockton because of how fast it was. But if you talk to any other driver, they would be like, "Oh my god, my butthole's puckered going into turn one." So bringing that into what it is and refining it and listening to the drivers and getting feedback, that place is just going to completely be set up to win.
yeah.
Absolutely be a. You already have a facility capable of holding massive crowds. They
So
used
some
to
of the
have.
people that would talk to some of the drivers, they said the reason they're going off the racetrack because it wasn't really built right. They'd end up
No.
in turn three or turn
Yeah.
one, have the hole in it all the time, the dip.
Yep.
So all that is gone. So, like I said, any type of a change improves it. I'll tell you what, they're going to have the best racing out there. Nine. Tony knows it. Tony's
Oh
not
yeah.
dumb. He's a smart promoter. He knows
Oh
what he's
yeah.
doing.
No, Tony pays attention.
Oh yeah,
Tony definitely pays attention. And keep your eyes on what's going to be happening with Silver Dollar Speedway. I don't know how deep in the two-wheeled world you are, but the Sacramento Mile, which was a mainstay in American Flat Track, wasn't on the schedule this year. They ran it at Chico at Silver Dollar Speedway.
I ran that track once with AMA. Oh my god,
Yeah. Well,
I
on a
missed those
mile,
days in the
yeah.
'70s.
I mean, obviously, I wasn't a figment in my parents' imagination in the 70s, so we won't talk about that. But I had been to, back when the USAC Silver Crown Series used to come out here, as a little kid, I'd watch JJ Yaley and Jimmy Sills go Nerf bar to Nerf bar in Silver Crown cars.
That's
And
how
that,
Jimmy over the winter here in Reno when they had the big go kart races here.
yes,
Jimmy was there, and I forgot who else
yep,
was there with them.
Jimmy.
So it was
So
good to see Jimmy. I haven't seen him for a while.
I absolute treat because Jimmy, obviously one of my hometown heroes when I was a kid. Jimmy came down to Kevin Harvick's Current Raceway, and because our first race of the year for us on the USAC series was the Dave Calderwood Memorial. Now you probably know who Dave Calderwood is. Yeah. So I literally, to kill time at one point, because we were under a rain delay, the promoter walks in and says, "Hey, I got Jimmy coming up here." I'm like, "What? You kidding me?" And I literally, so he walks in. I mean, his personality walks in before he does. And I turn around and I shake his hand. I'm like, "Jimmy, my name's Ian. I've been a fan of yours for most of my life. Thank you for this because you are making my career right now." And he looked at me and he was just grinning, shits and grins, and the coolest guy to interview. I just kept it simple, and I missed one question I wanted to ask him, and I thought about it afterwards. And you might appreciate this, Davey. If you were able to put a fire suit on and get in any race car, this is what I wanted to ask him. What would it be? Because the guy was an absolute powerhouse in a midget. He was a destroyer in the Silver Crown car. He was a winged freak of nature. Like, the guy could drive anything with a steering wheel and look cool
Yeah.
doing it.
You know, back in the '70s and '80s, I'm going to say it anyhow. Even with the cards we had back in there, that was some of the best racing I have ever seen back in the '70s and the '80s. Maybe into the '90s, but you'll never see legends like we had back in them days, and Jimmy was one of them. You know,
Those
so
were those. So my dad and I did it one year. I think I was probably 7 or 8 years old. The old, back when the Northern Auto Racing Club and the Golden State Challenge were two different things.
Yep.
And we went to almost every race on Speed Week. We went to Calistoga, we went to Chico, we went to Marysville, went to Placerville. There's 4. And to see the caliber of talent that was there, when you had Brent Keating, you had Randy Hannigan, Kevin Pylant, Jason Statler, all these other big wing names, it was like, you never know who's going to end up getting out front. I mean, I've seen that Randy Tyner even. Randy,
Randy, oh my God. Yeah.
When I found out Randy was deaf when I was probably 7 years old, I was like, how can he do this? I watched Randy at Placerville Speedway on the cushion in 2 and literally jump the back straightaway cushion. There was a cushion there on the back straight. Jump that to make a pass on the outside. I was like, your sprint car just went airborne. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, most of us drivers, when we're coming out of a turn, we could almost hear who's behind us, you know, by the motor. He couldn't. So, you know, my hat's off to Randy.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But yeah, obviously you can tell, like, I've done history at this. I want to do more of this. I would love to do some more circle track. I know a lot of those guys are very locked into their positions, and I definitely respect them for it. You know, Gary Thomas, the local boy from Placerville, Gary and I talk every once in a while. Steven. I mean, I think the only other person that I know that does kind of stuff that more or less works how I work is probably Steven.
Yeah.
Because that guy, he'll be in Madera one night. He'll be in, I don't even know where the next night. Then he'll be at Ocean Speedway next week.
Petaluma, you name it. Wherever they need him, he'll be there. I'm going to say now, he's being groomed by a guy by the name of Kenny Shepard. You may know him.
I have not met Kenny, but I know who he is.
Well, I was his track announcer for 6 years. See, another track I was there for quite a while. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Both the asphalt and the dirt track, but I love Kenny. He taught me a lot, especially the up front. I could run a back of the racetrack in the pits. I could run. I've done that for years, but he taught me more about any promoter, about up front, from the ticket booth to everything else, sponsors, everything. He's the only one who took time to do that. But I see him one day, either NASCAR or some big syndicate announcing the big races. That's what I see. I told Kenny that, and he says, yep, I'm grooming him for it.
Oh, yeah. No, Steven, he's already been on TV with MAV TV, and I applaud him for it. And I know when I first was on Flow for the Napa Auto Parts 150 at Roseville, I was like, this is a whole nother ballgame to me, because you just took somebody from the dirt world and you put me on an asphalt track. And I'm like, but when it comes down to it, we're announcers. We're paid to talk about what we're watching. And I'm like, if I can somehow incorporate and just give this a little bit of extra, I don't know, flair, sure. And it was a treat to get to do it. But guys like Steven, like, he'll be on, I don't know, name whatever broadcast company that's carrying NASCAR. He'll be there. Guaranteed. Me, as of late, I might have found more of a niche in the two-wheeled world, or really off-the-shelf kind of stuff like truck and tractor pulls. Because there is kind of a goofy talent, and I'm sure you'll understand this one, to take something heavy and loud, hook it to something really heavy, pull it 300 feet, and make that entertaining for somebody who's watching.
That's hard to do.
Oh, I find it so easy. Some people, they're like, oh, I find it. It's because, think about it. What's the first thing I told you I did? I was an infant in the stands at a truck and tractor pull. So, and I thought they were the coolest things ever. My buddies and I would make the drive, because we went 12 years without one at the El Dorado County Fair. And we would make the drive out to Amador County every year. That poll's been running for at least 35 years, if not longer, consistently, every Friday of the fair, every year. And we'd go, we'd have a blast, and I'd love every minute of it. There may or may not have been alcohol involved, but, you know, it happens. So it's when I was kind of just, I don't know, encompassed by that. And then when I got to meet my buddy Chuck Pumley, who I definitely consider my mentor, he graduated to the All-Star Monster Truck Tour and then he does some other stuff. I think he announced at Merced for a while. He's done a whole bunch of other things, but he graduated to monster trucks, and he's traveling all across the country, in going to Hawaii, going to Canada, all over the place. I filled his shoes for L&L Productions, and if you can bring that electricity, oh, the crowd just eats it up.
I think the reason I say it's hard because I never announced one. Let's take it back. I helped a little bit one time, but Mr. Reeves Trucking, invited me, and I forgot what town it was there in California, over by his hometown around that area, to help announce the truck and tractor pull there and be the DJ playing the music and everything announced there. But another announcer showed up. I said, "That's fine. No, you guys take it. I'll just play the music."
There you
and
go.
I was listening to these guys and said, you know what? It's kind of hard, even though you got one truck out there. You've got to sit there and talk about it, what class, what motor, whatever, but make it exciting. That's what I learned that weekend. So,
well, I'll tell you what, you said you're coming to at least one of the events that I'm doing in Nevada. You want me to talk about those?
Carson City.
Yes, sir. August 2nd. So this is going to be wild because some of us don't really know what to expect. This is a brand new event, and it's going to be a Friday show. And I'll tell you about the whole rest of my schedule for at least August, because it would make the average person seasick. So the Cap City Rodeo, brand new rodeo, brought to you by the folks that did the, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the other one. Another rodeo down in Gardnerville. Well, he brought this, he's doing us, L&L Productions Western American Polling Series. We're going to be Friday. And then there's FMX Rampage, Adam Jones's freestyle motocross demo. They're doing a Harley Davidson stunt show. They're doing some kind of a demo with skateboards and BMX bikes and a rodeo all in one day.
I've announced at least 4 rodeos, and I enjoy that.
Oh, I love rodeo. I grew up around that. But that's what is coming up August 2nd. And then the next day, I go do a short course off-road race in Marysville. Thank God I live in Placerville, so that's not too long of a drive to Carson. But here's the 2 that I want your mainstay fans in Nevada to take note of. Actually, I'll give you 3. At 3. August 16th, full show. We're bringing tractors. We're bringing trucks. If it can run, we're going to run it. Lyon County Fair out in Yerington.
That's always a big show right there for Yerington.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a huge one. You're going to have multi-engine tractors. I got, rumor has it, because I've been floating around social media lately, there's a whole bunch of the tractor guys that they're kind of getting back into things. They're wanting to run their tractors more because they're enjoying themselves, and that's what matters. So expect a whole big deal there. But the pièce de résistance, if you will, the creme de la creme, is the next night, Douglas County Fairgrounds, the Carson Valley Spectacular. So I did our first round of our whole tour was in Turlock. And Turlock, we had 2 sleds, big wide arena. It was well set up for what we were doing. Because if you know truck and tractor pulling, back in the day when you would have the TNT Redman polling series that would be on TV and all this other stuff, there were a lot of big names that came out of Turlock. Turlock, where they said there was a sled on every corner and alcohol at every gas station, and I'm not talking beer. So you're going to get that whole entire show from Turlock, but we're going to pick it up. We're going to put it on some semi-trucks, and we're going to bring it out to the Douglas County Fairgrounds in Gardnerville. That will be wild. I've been told for the last 3 years, I have not done this poll yet for L&L. I've been told for the last 3 years, Ian, you need to be there. I've had scheduling issues. I can be a busy guy, as well as you've seen. August 17th, he goes, can you do that this year? Can you do 16th and 17th? I said, I will see you there. He goes, and oh my God. I watched.
So I'll be the Carson, and I'll be there at Yerington, and the one in, what's the last one you were talking, in Gardnerville?
That is the Douglas County Fairgrounds in Gardnerville, yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll be at that one too.
So
I've been trying to, because I think the month of August, I'm kind of laid back doing more DJ work that month than announcing anywhere. So I want to make sure I go there, because the reason I want to go, I got my nonprofit license a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, very cool.
We used to bring in here in Fallon the truck and tractor pulls for the Octane Fest from Rattlesnake Raceway. They took it over for a couple of 3 years, but they found out how much it cost, so they didn't do it anymore. But anyhow, everyone's been bugging me since they know what I'm can do. So I had to get my license, my city license, everything. I got that. So now I'm going to start promoting truck and tractor back here in Fallon, and hopefully
Really?
someday with monster trucks. So don't be surprised if you get a phone call, buddy.
Well, I can relay that, and we can get some cool stuff from California to come out there.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
for
know.
sure.
Well, it'll be a couple of probably M&M. They're good buddies of mine.
Oh,
They're
MLM,
in,
the Massetti family.
yeah, they're in Madera. Yeah, they're good buddies of mine. They're here all the time. So, in fact, when I came out here 10 years ago, when I went to my first uh, Octane Fest, I knew there's truck and tractor going to be there, but I didn't know who was going to be putting it on because they used to put it
Yeah.
there at Madera every year or twice a year.
He still
I
does.
walked
That's
in,
the
what
Golden
the hell are
State
you guys doing here? So it was
Yeah,
good to see them there.
You
But
want to talk
we
about a
have
family with history? Wow.
Oh yeah,
Unbelievable.
I miss those
Now-
guys. I really do.
Oh, they're
But
they're
I
great
want to start
people.
bringing that stuff back here to Fallon.
Perfect.
Because I know the people here in Fallon, they want it. They keep everybody keeps bugging, not just from the racing world, but people see on the streets, "Hey, we know you were part of that Octane Fest with the truck and tractor. Bring it back." I says, "Okay,
Definitely.
well, I've got to get my license and everything." So it's all ready to go. So maybe next year.
I love it. I took my first trip out to Fallon New Year's Eve for the oh God, I'm drawing a blank. It's the Hui Top Gun Invitational bull riding that was there
Yep.
on New Year's Eve, and you want to talk about an extremely awesome event center,
Yep.
and you want to talk about an incredibly ran event. I was like, I looked at the girlfriend because we'd only been together for like 2 or 3 months, and I go, "Honey, we need to make this our New Year's Eve thing," and she goes, "Yeah," and I'm like,
Well, if you're there
"Perfect."
next year, let me know because I'm there every year.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're there. If we're there this year, which you probably will be, I will let you know. Now,
Yeah,
I have one more date for you, but it's going to be two-wheeled stuff. You ready for this?
Uh-oh.
So there's a little race put on in Fuji Park in Carson City every year, which is also where we'll be on the 2nd for Cap City Rodeo. But this is the Outlaw Flat Track. So
Yeah, I was
August
supposed
20
to announce that last year or this year, and I couldn't make it though.
Oh, got it. Well, I will be there.
Wow.
I will be there.
You know, I've got to cut back a little bit. Maybe that would be a week and I can cut because I've always wanted to go to that flat track race, and I miss flat track racing, just like I miss sprint car racing.
I did a flat track race in Santa Rosa for the very first time about 2 years ago. Now, granted, I was watching On Any Sunday When I Can Talk. Like, I knew who Mert Lawwell was, all this other stuff. Like, I knew the history, and that's always fascinated me about that.
Guess who was in
Yeah.
that movie?
You weren't in On Any Sunday.
We were background racing there at Hall's Ranch, so we were in the background.
No way.
But I was in it. My sister and her best friend across the street where we grew up, they were in it too. So
That's so awesome.
yeah. So I got to polish down my bike and get all dirty, but we polished it down, got it out there and everything. So had lunch
So
with both of
cool.
them. God, now forgot their names. I just went blank on their names. But anyhow, yeah, it was pretty fun. We got like $30-$40 a day for it.
Hey, $30-$40 a day when they were cutting that movie. That was a good chunk of money.
Oh,
But
especially back in the 70s, early 70s. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we and it was funny. So I got a hold of. I'm drawing a blank on a couple other gentlemen that did a whole bunch of flat track and speedway racing, and Mike Rooney from Fast Fridays was supposed to be there. Well, he had a scheduling conflict, so apparently my name got passed around by a whole bunch of people in the flat track world, and he was kind of apprehensive because it's like, wait a second, you're a young guy that knows flat track? I go, yeah. He goes, well, Mert Lawwell's our grand marshal, and I'm like, yeah, I know who he is. And they looked at me like, you got to be kidding me. And it was funny because I totally had a whole handwritten page of notes. You'll see me at events, I'm always carrying a clipboard, and it's always talking points, notes, stuff I can reference. If I gotta kill time or I gotta fill a void and keep the crowd entertained and interactive, I've got it. I had a full page on Mert Lawwell. And it was so great because he goes over to introduce me to Mert, and I'm like, I was like, I've been a fan. I'm like, I watch On Any Sunday for probably more times than I can count. And he's like, he looked at me, and I shit you not, in the most gentlemanly manner that Mert is, which he is still to this day, the same like suit wearing, like debonair kind of dude that you saw on Any Sunday. And he goes, I think I know a guy who was in that movie. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This dude he's a riot.
Yeah, that's the first
Class
time I've
act.
ever seen him in a suit. You know, I don't even think he liked putting it on.
Oh, I'm sure. But he is the character that they portrayed still.
Oh yeah,
And
back in the day,
it's
he
so
was the
awesome.
man back in them days. Yeah,
They
I got to
didn't
stop you
make him
for
any
1
cooler.
second here. All
Not a
right, Dale
problem.
DeWitt, how you doing, buddy? Well, hopefully see you there in Cedarville this weekend. John R. Osgood, another good buddy by there in California. He says, "Damn it, Davey, LOL." That's my buddy John. All right, Ken Newberry, he's got some news from All American Speedway there in Roseville,
Oh,
California.
I know Kenny.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Probably
I
one of the
love
better
Kenny.
flagmen around.
Yes.
Hope all is well. Cars Tour West in Stockton this weekend. Yeah, I forgot about that. Like I said, Kenny, I wasn't sure if I was going to come on tonight, so a lot of that stuff did not get covered. Sorry about it. Keith Colbert out of Central Valley down there. Davey, we had fun when we worked together at Rocky Hill Speedway there in Porterville, California. I'll tell you what, Keith, I had a lot of fun announcing at that track there. That's one of the older racetracks in California there too, in Placerville, California. Also, Keith says, Tony said he is such a great promoter. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Over, he says, hi, Kenny Newberry. Susan. Hi, Davey. Hi, Susan. I'll give you a call later on. John again. Bud Riddle. Robbie Dameron. Boy, I could keep naming you guys in that movie. Yeah. Ricky Lloyd, what's going on? Glad you're feeling better. Thank you, Ricky. Steve Osborne, another sprint car driver from the 70s and 80s. His son's into racing now, too, doing really, really good. Glad to have you on here, Steve. Okay, back
Very
with
nice.
you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to mention this. A lot of announcers don't like announcing about other announcers, how good they are. I love doing it. Yeah,
I do too.
I'll promote any announcer out there. I don't care if he's good or bad, whatever. They're trying is the main thing. But if it was last year or the year before, up in Chico, two announcers, Gary was one of them, and during the intermission there, whatever they want to call it, they were talking about different announcers. And all of a sudden, my name came up.
Really?
Go, Davey boy, great announcer, whatever, but he's probably one of the best guys out there to get a crowd going on live television all over.
That's awesome.
Now, to me, that made my whole, it's 2005 to today, made it all,
right,
personal from them too.
That's awesome. Especially Gary, that was probably Troy that was with him, Troy Henning.
Yeah, with Troy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but with those two guys, like Gary, between Gary and Bill Sullivan from Placerville Speedway, those are the voices of my childhood. I'm now super good friends with Bill. His wife is a country music musician out here as well. So it's like those are the two voices from my childhood.
Yeah.
And then you go back, and I remember Gary Gerald showing up at the Silver Crown 100 and Bobby Gerald doing a whole bunch of NARC stuff. Like, people are so quick to judge announcers. People are so quick to point out mistakes we make, or, oh, so-and-so's not entertaining, or so-and-so's this. When I came into this, I said, I kind of want to change that, because I said to myself, I came into this with my own style, my own way of going about things, and you'll see it when you come on the 2nd to Carson. It'll be a show unlike anything you've ever seen, especially for truck and tractor pulls. And then if you end up making it out for Outlaw Flat Track, I'm going to be working that with a guy named Brock McAllister. Brock McAllister is also huge. Thank you to him, McAllister Motorsports. He's the reason why I'm going to Oregon on Friday. And I just do things the way I do things. And then I tried to, like, for instance, when High Limit started, Chase Rodman was the infield guy for World of Outlaws. If people don't know where he came from, to jump from that to a lead announcer spot for something like High Limit, where they came in guns blazing with their live stream. Their live stream is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I love Johnny from World of Outlaws. Johnny Gibson, love him, love his energy, love what he does. But Chase Rodman, he had the perfect, if there was a gray area between analysis and just keeping his cool and still spiking his energy and keeping a crowd interactive, like, he kept me watching And I was so like, I even got on Facebook and I tagged him and I said, hey, shout out to this guy. Shout out to Chase Rodman. That was an incredibly impressive to jump into that and do killer. And we're all learning every single performance. And I say performance, but every single event that I work, it always is, okay, what can I do better next time? Or what can I improve? I literally, so I run all my music stuff, like for truck and tractor pulls. This is just an example off of my iPad. My iPad's sitting right next to me the entire time. And I have playlists for all sorts of different stuff. And for when I get the Pro Modified 4-wheel drive truck, 6,200 pound Pro Modified class, my favorite, because these are all the trucks that used to fill the front. I'm watching all this, doing all this homework stuff for truck and tractor pulls, the Cow Palace, Oakland Coliseum. They would be in Angel Stadium. They would be the Spartan front. I always forget about this one. The front straightaway of the San Jose Spartan running track, or the old TNT Redman Tour. So when these things show up, most of them, not all of them, but most of them have been in competition longer than I've been alive. So I want to build that up. And I know this, and I want to build that up because, like, for instance, that will be your main event on August 2nd. You won't see tractors there, but when you come back for Lyon County and Carson Valley, lots of tractors. But your main event, Pro Modified. So everybody has their own song that I have literally picked for every truck. Like, for instance, a guy named Doug Bradshaw comes out of the great city of Oakdale, California. And he gave me a hard time for making one too many Ford jokes at the Amador County Fair last year. So I said, all right, this is my way to make up for this. He gets George Thorogood bad to the bone every time. I won't play it for anybody else because the truck's called Show No Mercy. That truck, he's the second owner of it, but the best story about it, the original crew chief from the USHRA days is now his crew chief. He came with the truck. So that all being said, it's like those little things. It's the kind of weird little detail that I like to put into it. Nobody taught me to do this, but I just said, I'm going to do it. And it's either going to be absolutely killer and it's going to be great, or no one's going to pay attention and I'm just going to try something else. It's kind of like how you would test spaghetti. You kind of pull a string of spaghetti out, you throw it against the wall. If it sticks, it's done.
Yeah.
That's how
I just taste it.
or that. Yes. I mean, I'm enough Italian. I can go, hey, that's how my grandma would make sure the spaghetti was done.
Yeah. It's like you said, well, back that fans, they'll notice every little thing you do wrong. You don't say
Yes.
too much about the good stuff, but you mentioned a name wrong. I have a problem with last names a lot.
I do
I'll
too
admit that,
sometimes.
you
I
know,
do too some,
it
and
takes
I'm
me
not.
2 or 3 times to say a name, then I'll get it. But, you know, it just sometimes the little simplest things they will get upset about. Well, one of them, everybody knows this ever since day one I started announcing, was right after the national anthem is, are you proud to be an American? You know, I get everybody jumped. That's how we get started for the races and everything. And to this day, I still get goosebumps. But if I forget to say it after the national, oh man, do I hear it? They're not mad. They're just kind of mentioning it, you know. You
You get that
forgot.
feedback.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, and I've been known about this for quite a while, is the $2 bandit. I don't even know if you know this, but
It
every
rings
track
a
I go
bell.
to, what's that?
It rings a bell.
Oh, okay. What it is, I'll go to whatever track it is, I'll get stuff to give away or to sell it for a real $2 bill. And I've been collecting that. Sometimes I'll get almost $2,000 in a year on real $2 bills.
No way.
What really boosted it is that I tell everybody I do not save this money. It does not go to me. So whatever I collect, those $2 bills, it all goes to the American Cancer Society. Reason why? I'm a 4-time cancer survivor. That's why. So everybody knows me, especially as the $2 bandit.
That's awesome. And that's a killer way to that's a killer way to be known. You know,
Yeah.
for me, my old motocross nickname that one of my buddies gave me at a practice day followed me forever. And everybody calls me McDome. I'm like McLovin with a big dome. I have a size 8 head. It works. I've got buddies of mine that have clothing companies and print companies that are fighting each other to make hats that'll fit me. So you'll always see me with well, this is a buddy of mine from Oakdale, Cowboy Fresh, my buddy Austin Whitmore, but you'll almost always see me at events. I'll have a hat on that says Money Moto Music. That's my good buddy Joe Bennett out of Paso Robles, California. He's got a very successful print shop and embroidery shop. And he literally said he tried to give me a hat in an event, and I go, Joe, that's not going to fit. It fit on my head. I'm not kidding, Davey, like that. And I go, that's not going to work, dude. And he goes, dude, how big is your head? And I told him, and he goes, find some hats and send them to me. I go to the next event he's at. He brings me 4 different hats. And I go, hey, you want to be a sponsor for hats? Perfect. Done.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
I ended up, so Mike Lewis from L&L Productions, I came up with an idea, and I said, I want to make a comic of me, like take a super cool picture of me and make like a comic out of it to make into stickers. So Mike goes, yeah, I can do that. Send me a picture that you want. Well, there was this absolutely stellar picture of me from the Napa Auto Parts 150. And I was like standing in front of the big Arca billboard thing, like right before driver intro. And it was a wall hanger. Well, I sent it to Mike. It is now my little comic. And I've spent, oh God, probably a couple $100 now just making stickers. I give them to kids wherever I go.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked over to just go get dinner at Bakersfield Speedway, and I'm handing out my stickers to kids. And that's the kind of stuff that the kids will remember too. Because if you hook the kids now, our motorsports will be absolutely stellar from here on out.
Yeah, I watch the kids. I love the kids like doing a lot of stuff for kids, especially if you give away. I don't care if it's a wristband, a sticker. You know what they're going to do? They're going to look, they're going to laugh, they're smile. Daddy, daddy, mommy, mommy, look what I got. Exactly. And they're coming back.
Exactly. I knew that. So quick story, because I know I could talk to you about this kind of stuff forever. So I got more kind of mindseted for that doing short course off-road. East Street MX Park started the side-by-side series, and there was this girl by the name of Jordan Skaggs that would show up at every race. She'd run 2 cars, a 170 and a 570. So a little itty-bitty car and one that's a little bit bigger. And she was by herself the first year. She'd go out and she'd run she'd run her 8-lap main by herself. In her 570, every once in a while, they'd put her with the Youth 1000. She just would maintain and run by herself. And I kind of went, I need to do something special for her and make her feel like a rock star. So she wants to progress in this sport. And then next thing you know, she goes and gets in an RS1, full-size race car, full-size Polaris 1000 side-by-side. Well, then she goes into the Youth 1000 class. And 2 years later, she finally gets her first actual main event win. And she fought for it. I got her on the podium, and I looked at the crowd that was there. Granted, it was a couple hundred people, friends and family, and I'm like, I want to let every single one of you know how proud of this girl I am right now, because I watched her from 11 years old come out here by herself, and now she's on top of the podium winning against a whole bunch, and now she's in the sportsman class. And if they don't have a naturally aspirated side-by-side field, they'll put her out with the turbo cars. And she makes a sport out of seeing how many turbo cars she can pass. So, well, and that's the whole thing. So I started doing that. The next year, year 2, I had a group of kids show up in 170s. There were like 6 or 7 of them. Well, I got a little rinky-dink announcer stand at East Street. It's probably not OSHA approved whatsoever. And all of a sudden, all the kids started just piling up there. All right, I don't care. Don't touch any of my equipment. Don't annoy me. I don't care. And then next thing you know, this last year, one of the parents got a hold of my girlfriend and was like, hey, we want to do something special because we had a race 7 days after my birthday, after my 35th birthday. They're like, we want to do something special for Ian. I show up. My whole little announcer stand is covered in happy birthday stuff. All the kids signed this big old piece of poster board. Like, I had a picture taken with this whole group. And it was like 18 kids in front of my little announcer stand. They put it inside a frame, and it's all autographed by all the kids. That thing hangs on my wall, and it will always hang on my wall because of the fact that no matter what, I may have inspired 2 or 3 of those kids to become professional racers. I may have inspired 2 or 3 of them to become announcers. Like, I've made that much of an effect, and it just, that alone is heartwarming. I love it.
Yeah. I remember, what was it, about Well, before I moved out of California, I did it in California, and I did it here in Nevada. I got about $1,000 worth of quarters, spread it all over the track for the kids for them to find them. They
Awesome.
love that. Parents come, where do you get that kind of money? Just do it. The kids. That's why I do it.
Exactly.
And then one of the parents, I hear this, we are definitely coming back to this track. We've never been here, but things like this happen. We're coming back. That's what brings it back. You know?
Exactly. And like I said earlier on in our whole conversation, it's all about the experience you provide.
Yep.
Because if you can take that, and me growing up where I've been to darn near every single circle, well, not darn near. Now I'm figuring out more about like Cedarville. I didn't know that existed until you. And then I've been to almost every track that runs winged sprint cars. I'll put it that way, because that was my dad and my grandpa's thing. And I've seen the product that was put out, and I went, what can I do different? I'm not saying better. I'm saying different.
Different.
And then I incorporated that into what I've done. And then thus far, I mean, like I said, logistics, I couldn't do the midget series anymore. That was unfortunate, but I've gotten multiple other phone calls since. Like I said, I'm hopping a plane. Thank you to Brock McAllister. I'm going over to Outlaw Flat Track because that promoter was in the stands at Stadium GP and got to hear me work with Kenny Bell, which, FYI, for anybody that's watching right now that was at Stadium GP, it will be back next year. Just want to let you know. That was, I chased that opportunity because I saw it and I went, this looks really cool. Because a buddy of mine was going to put in a bid to build the track. And I was like, oh, I got a hold of the promoter. I sent him a full-blown, drawn-out resume, and I was like, I want to work your event. I want to work your event. This looks like fun.
I'll tell you what, Ian, I'm going to have you back on.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Well, we could talk all night long from the way it sounds, that's for sure. But I want to thank you for coming on and giving us a lot of information that you've gone through. And it's good. Like I said, I want to have you back on, and I will see you August the 2nd there in Carson City.
Yes, sir. If you don't find me, I'll come find you.
I'll be there. No, I hope whatever track I go to, I always introduce myself to the announcer, or if I know him, hey, buddy, what's going on? I haven't seen you for a while. Hey, come on.
Perfect.
No, this is yours. You know, unless they twist my arm.
I mean, you know, I always have a second microphone with me, just saying.
Wait a minute. I got to show you something.
Oh, this will be entertaining.
Can you see that?
Oh yeah, yeah. You got a few more than me.
That's just what I carry around with me. Plus, I got 2 more remote sets with 2 more microphones for each one of those. I got a lot of them. I mean, if you look behind me, I cleaned my trailer out because I'm putting new brackets up, new shelves and everything. I got about $20,000 worth of equipment. So I've got a lot.
And my girlfriend thinks I'm crazy for carrying around a backpack. Well, what was a backpack? She inspired me to get a rolling, basically waterproof, life-proof case, which just got delivered to the house. I got to set it up, and then that's my flight case for all my stuff to go to Idaho. She inspired me to do that, and she needs to look at your equipment. I love it. Well, Davey, like I said, man, you and I could chat forever, and I'm sure we'd annoy or bore a lot of people, but I appreciate it. There you go.
I just got this one because up there in Susanville, California, I need this. I don't like the system up there, so I just bought this one, and I got a bigger one. It'll plug 18 microphones into it. Yeah.
Dang, sounds like I need to take a trip up to Susanville.
Yeah, hey, come on up there. You'll be in Oregon. I'll be there Sunday.
Okay.
I'm in the race on Sunday. That starts at 5:00, I think. But there's a destruction derby they want me to announce as well up there too. So be a long trip to. I love those things. I love the destruction derbies. But I'll be up in Cedarville on Saturday night. Get up early and head to Susanville on Sunday morning. Stop and have some breakfast, and then head on out there. But again,
I love it.
You'll be. Where are you going to be in Oregon?
Pendleton, Oregon. Actually, at the Pendleton Rodeo Grounds.
That'd be cool.
Where they have the Pendleton Roundup, I'm the cowboy side of me and then the motorsports guy. I'm like, I'm so flipping excited. It ain't even funny.
Yeah, I used to rodeo back in the 80s too. So, but miss those days. But anyhow, yeah. So there's a lot of guys in Oregon that are tuned in. They're not on the comment, but they just like listening in. So I know they're up there listening. So maybe I can catch you up there.
Saturday night, Pendleton, Oregon, Pendleton Rodeo Grounds, the Pendleton Shootout, $15,000 in purse money on the line.
I love those kind of races. I love those kind of
15
races.
grand. We got payouts. We have a payout for the women's class. We have a payout for quads. We have a big payout for 450s. We got a hooligan payout. I looked at the whole breakdown and I went, that's a lot of money. I go, oh, this is going to attract some cool stuff. So
Well, if they're paying $15,000, that's got to be almost $100,000 show.
probably,
Maybe even more.
yeah, it's going to be. Let's just say I was given a little bit of an inkling as to how big this is, and he's like, I talked to Brock McAllister. He goes, I can't explain how big this is. You just have to see it. And I go,
Remember at
okay.
Madera Speedway there in California, when I got with Kenny there, he's telling me how much at least once a month. He's putting up $240,000 plus for some of the once a month racing there. That's a lot of money.
Kenny takes good care of his asphalt crowd, that's for sure. If you want to, I'm gonna leave you with this because I know we can talk forever. Keep your eyes in the junior late model ranks. The junior late model ranks in Madera. Watch out for a girl named Kylie Glick.
Yep. There's
So
there's also a Kinsella.
Yes, Vito.
Keep your eyes on.
Well,
Grandfather Kinsella used to be one of my first sponsors when I was flat tracking motorcycles.
There you go.
Yep.
Vito's a stellar driver, but watch Kylie. So
Yeah.
I did a couple of quarter midget races out here, and I watched Kylie in a quarter midget, and then next thing you know, she gets hooked up with Mike Nake and gets in a junior late model, and I go, that's a huge jump. That girl can drive. So just keep
Look
your
at
eyes on her.
that junior late model. How many drivers are coming out of there? Now they're building their way up into NASCAR. Jesse Love is one of them.
Jesse Love also is I feel like he's very glossed over as being an incredibly talented dirt track driver too.
Oh, he is. He is. He's one of the. If he's get trained right, he can be like a Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon. Every 20 years,
a
driver of their caliber comes around every 20 years. You know, Kyle Larson was that one there for a long time.
Well, check this out. You might agree with me. You might disagree with me. Jeff Gordon walked so Kyle Larson can crawl. Think about it.
Yeah,
Think about it.
I can believe that. That's a good one.
That is my theory. That is my theory. So, like I said, I won't keep you too much longer, my friend. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Okay, hang on one more second. Tom Duncan Racing. Miss you at Rattlesnake and Lovelock. Hopefully you'll see you at Susanville Labor Day weekend. Yes, I will be there, Tom. I miss all you guys there at Rattlesnake and Lovelock as well. All right, everybody, for tuning in. And my special guest, Donnie Richardson, will be there at Cedarville Raceway this weekend in Cedarville, California. So got nothing to do. Come on up there. Some great racing with the pro stocks and hobby stocks there. And I want to thank this guy right here, Ian, for coming on. Doing a great job, Ian McAdam. We got to get together, buddy. We got to get together.
Yes, sir. I think we need to have some beers, Davey. Just saying, some adult beverages.
Well, I'll have one or two. I don't drink anymore. I'll have one or two, and that's about it.
All right. Hey, that's enough. That's definitely enough to do a little bench racing.
But again, I'll be there August 2nd for sure for that one there. I saw it either yesterday or today, the flyer that came out. So I said, oh, man, I'm going to be there. Then come find out you're going to be there. Okay, I'll be there.
I reposted that probably 2 hours ago.
That's probably where I thought, and that's why I saw your name. Oh, man, I got to get there now. I got to, we've never met except for online or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to get there, and I got to meet this guy.
But it won't be too much longer. I'll get to shake your hand. Well, thank you, sir, once again for having me on. Much appreciated. Keep doing what you're doing, and I will see you on the 2nd.
Hey, you do the same thing there, buddy, and take care.
Thank
you. All right, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and if you didn't hear, again, I haven't been on for about the last two and a half months due to health problems, especially with my breathing and some of my swallowing. I've had problems with it, but everything is okay. My breathing is back to normal. They had to change some of my inhalers, which is a lot better for me. I'm breathing normally where I couldn't. Part of the reason was I'd go outside for about 15 minutes, do some work, and I had to come inside the house and lay down for about an hour. Don't have to do that no more, thanks to the new inhalers they gave me and on my blood pressure pills. One of them I have to cut it in half now. They think that is probably part of the reason. If that is, they're going to take me off that one. But for right now, I got to still take 2.5 pills for my blood pressure. But again, everything's back to normal. As you can tell, I'm still talking a lot now. It's good to be back on here. Good to see a lot of the names that I haven't seen for quite a while on here, except for on Facebook. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And oh, you know what? I completely forgot this. I got to keep announcing this. A lot of you know Hot August Nights is coming up in a couple of weeks here in Reno, Nevada. Drag racing at the Sparks Hotel and Casino will start on Wednesday. I will be there going live on Davey's American Racing. This will make the 4th year in a row. They have invited me up there to do the race program there. So I'm looking forward to that. So a lot of you guys coming up for Hot August Nights, head on over to Sparks Casino there and the parking lot. And let's do some drag racing and come say hi on Davey's American Racing, because I'll definitely put you behind the microphone if you come out there. All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you next week. And if you're going to your local racetrack, make sure you check the websites for them. And or if you're driving someplace else, check the websites on those racetracks. All right, everybody, take care. God bless, and we'll see you next week on Davey's American Racing.